The morning show circuit operates on a carefully calibrated rhythm of light banter, celebrity anecdotes, and lifestyle segments. It's a world of perpetual sunshine, even when the topics drift toward the mildly serious. So when Kelly Ripa, the effervescent queen of this domain, steps onto the set of Live with Kelly and Mark, audiences expect a specific energy, sharp wit, playful marital sparring, and an undeniable buoyant chemistry with her husband and co-host Mark Consuelos. Which is why the moment that unfolded, seemingly spontaneously, yet palpably raw, sent shockwaves through their devoted viewership. It was not during a planned interview or a scripted segment. It was in the interstitial space, the unguarded exchange that the show's format so brilliantly highlights. A casual mention of a recent health scare involving Mark cracked the carefully maintained facade, and Kelly's reaction was instantaneous and visceral. Her voice wavered, her eyes welled with tears. She fiercely tried to blink back, and for a few seconds, the polished host vanished, revealing a wife gripped by a recent terrifying vulnerability. This was more than a sad update or tabloid fodder. This was a window into the profound reality of a decades-long partnership facing one of life's most universal fears. The headline, "Sad Update, Mark Consuelos' Health Scare Sparks Emotional Reaction from Kelly Ripa," captured a fragment of the truth. But the full story is a tapestry woven from the threads of their legendary romance, the silent pressures of public life, the universal anxiety of aging and mortality, and the quiet resilience of a family unit. This article delves beyond the emotional clip to explore the context, the likely implications, the public's reaction, and the broader conversation it sparks about health, partnership, and living authentically under the spotlight. To understand the weight of the moment, one must appreciate the ecosystem of Live. The show has thrived for years on the authentic, often hilariously contentious dynamic between Kelly and Mark. Their love story is the foundational myth. Young actors meeting on the set of All My Children in the mid-90s, a whirlwind secret elopement in 1996, and building a life and family, children Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, away from the relentless glare of Hollywood. When Mark officially joined the show as co-host in 2023, it was a masterstroke. The chemistry wasn't manufactured, it was a 30-year-old flame. On this particular day, the topic likely meandered towards schedules, upcoming plans, or minor annoyances. Mark, in his characteristic dry, deadpan style, may have made an offhand comment about taking things easier after that little scare, or needing a checkup. The wording was casual, but the effect on Kelly was anything but. The reaction deconstructed. Observers noted a cascade of micro-expressions, a slight freeze in her posture, a sharp intake of breath barely caught by her microphone, and then the telltale glisten in her eyes. She reached for his hand or arm, a grounding, instinctual spousal gesture. Her voice, usually an instrument of comic timing and control, thickened. It was really scary, she admitted, the words hanging in the air, heavy with unspoken details. She fought for composure, using humor as a shield, a quick, self-deprecating joke about being a worrier, but the mask had slipped. The audience saw not Kelly Ripa, TV star, but Kelly Consuelos, a partner who had just stared at a potential future she was not ready to contemplate. The segment moved on as live television must, but the echo remained. Social media ignited instantly. The clip was spliced, analyzed, and shared millions of times. The emotional authenticity was so stark, it became a relatable human moment. In the vacuum of specific details, which the couple has rightly chosen to keep private, a media frenzy of speculation ensued. Responsible journalism requires acknowledging this while firmly avoiding the trap of baseless conjecture. The seriousness. Kelly's reaction is the most reliable barometer. This was not a routine colonoscopy or a common cold. The level of her visible residual fear suggests something acute and unexpected, an event that carried with it real, immediate risk. Given Mark's age, early 50s, apparent fitness and public persona, speculation has centered on cardiac events, a minor arrhythmia episode, a concerning blood pressure spike, a neurological scare, such as a complex migraine with aura that mimicked more serious symptoms, or an unexpected finding during a routine physical that required urgent, scary follow-up testing. It could have been a severe reaction to something, or a warning sign from his body that could not be ignored. The privacy imperative. The couple's decision to withhold medical specifics is not only their legal right, but a courageous stance in an era of oversharing. It draws a crucial boundary. Their marriage, while a source of public joy, is not public property. The health of their family members is sacrosanct. By sharing the emotional impact but not the clinical details, they controlled the narrative on their terms, transforming a private fear into a public conversation about empathy rather than a clinical case study. The dangers of diagnosis from afar. This incident serves as a case study in modern media consumption. The public's desire to know must be tempered with respect for personal boundaries. Tabloids ran rampant with worst-case scenarios, from silent heart attack to cancer scare, each more invasive than the last. This highlights a critical cultural issue, our collective confusion between a celebrity's persona, which they share, and their person, which they own. The Consuelos family, by holding this line, reminded everyone of the difference. Kelly's tears were powerful because they were a testament to the depth of a partnership that the public feels it has witnessed in real time. To understand her fear, one must understand their love story. From secret elopement to built legacy, their romance began not as a fairy tale, but as an irresistible, all-consuming connection they actively protected. Eloping against the wishes of network executives was an act of defiant privacy. They built their family in New York, largely away from the Hollywood machine, prioritizing normalcy. Mark was often the steady, dry-humored counterbalance to Kelly's vibrant, public-facing energy. He was her rock, a term often cliché, but one that her reaction proved was profoundly literal. The role reversal, an inherent vulnerability. For decades, Mark has been portrayed, and has portrayed himself, as the unflappable, deeply fit, and unwaveringly strong anchor of the family. Seeing him vulnerable to a health event fundamentally shakes the family's ecosystem. Kelly's reaction revealed the terrifying reality of the stronger partner momentarily weakened. It spoke to the silent contract in long marriages, the unthinkable thought of life without the other. Her tears were not just about a past scare, they were a flash of a possible future she glimpsed and from which she recoiled in real time. Public partnership as a double-edged sword. Their decision to work together daily meant their relationship became a professional asset, but this incident exposed the risk. There is no off switch for genuine emotion. The very authenticity that makes their show successful is what made it impossible for Kelly to fully armor herself when the topic hit so close to home. The studio, usually a space of shared professional joy, became the arena for a shared private terror. The public and media response to the incident was multi-layered, reflecting a shift in how audiences engage with celebrities. The outpouring of empathy. Unlike schadenfreude-driven gossip, the dominant response was one of overwhelming empathy. Comment sections were filled with stories from viewers who had experienced similar scares with their own partners, parents, or siblings. The moment became a collective touchstone, a reminder that health anxiety spares no one, regardless of fame or fortune. Fans expressed gratitude for their honesty, seeing it as a brave break from the curated perfection of social media. A spotlight on midlife health, especially for men. Inadvertently, the incident became a PSA for proactive health management, particularly for men in their 40s and 50s. Discussions flourished about the importance of regular checkups, listening to one's body, and not dismissing minor symptoms. Mark, as a figure of traditional masculine vigor, becoming the subject of a health scare, quietly challenged stereotypes about male invincibility and the stigma around discussing medical concerns. The parasocial paradox. The event also highlighted the strange nature of parasocial relationships. Millions felt a genuine personal concern for a man they have never met. This isn't necessarily negative. It can foster community and shared human experience. However, it also created an intense pressure for the couple to update the public, blurring the lines between compassionate concern and entitled inquiry. Their handling of it, acknowledging the event's emotional truth while guarding its medical specifics, was a masterclass in navigating this modern paradox. In the weeks following the incident, the atmosphere on Live carried a subtle but perceptible shift, a tangible shift in on-air dynamics. Viewers noted a slight softening in their trademark bickering, an increase in tender glancing touches, and a more pronounced verbal appreciation for one another. The tease was still there, but it was undergirded by a renewed, palpable gratitude. Jokes about aging took on a gentler, more accepting tone. They weren't pretending it didn't happen. They were integrating the experience into their shared narrative, demonstrating resilience. The integration of scars into their story. Every long-term partnership accumulates scars, those moments of shared fear that become part of the relationship's bedrock. This health scare, now publicly acknowledged, becomes one of theirs. It will inform their banter, their priorities, and their private conversations. On air, it may manifest as a deeper advocacy for health awareness, a more open discussion about family and aging, or simply a more cherished quality to their interactions. A lesson in grace under pressure. For the audience, the long-term lesson is one of grace. The Consuelos Ripa family modeled how to handle a private crisis in public, with emotional honesty, fortified boundaries, and a united front. They showed that it's possible to be vulnerable without being victimized, to be public without being exposed. The headline's sad update was a reduction. What played out was not merely an update, but an unveiling. Mark Consuelos' health scare was the catalyst, but the story was truly about the profound, complex, and enduring love between two people. Kelly Ripa's emotional reaction was a lightning flash, illuminating the landscape of a 30-year marriage in one stark, brilliant instant. It showed the fear that is the shadow side of deep love, the vulnerability that is the price of profound attachment, and the strength that comes not from never being scared, but from having someone whose hand you can reach for when you are. In an age of curated reality, their unscripted moment was a gift of authentic human experience. It reminded millions that behind the glamour, the banter, and the smiling photos, every family, theirs included, navigates the same universal fears. Their greatest public performance may not have been a perfectly timed joke or a charming interview, but this raw